How's it going, guys? Brett Medlock here. Today I wanted to talk about Project Nimbus Complete Edition for the Nintendo Switch. Now, full disclosure, one of our writers is actually a voice actor in this game, but don't worry, that's not going to affect our opinion on the game. I don't even think John knew that when he started writing the review, but I just want to let everyone know just in case anything ever happens. But anyway, let's jump on into the Nintendo Enthusiast review. Daemon X Machina may be on the horizon, but mech combat junkies can't wait that long. Project Nimbus Complete Edition from GameTomo might give you the fix you've been jonesing for. For its budget price, it provides some satisfying flashes of tight combat, but sadly, its weak, repetitive level design holds it back from being a classic. Project Nimbus tries surprisingly hard to tell a good story by the way of cinematics, audio recordings, and even rare bits of anime. Basically, it's the near future. People are living in the clouds after a war devastated the land, and two large factions are still at war. Interestingly, you get to play as characters on both sides, experiencing both perspectives and types of giant killer robots. Sadly, the story still ends up being instantly forgettable, but hey, they tried. The mech designs range from pretty cool to pretty meh. It's nothing that'll trick you into thinking you're playing Zone of the Enders, but there's a nice bit of Gundam flavor in there. Meanwhile, the environments are frequently a little fuzzy or muddy, regardless of where you are. These feel a little lacking in detail as well, but there are at least a couple levels that do look genuinely beautiful if you stand perfectly still. Where the visuals really triumph in Project Nimbus is the frame rate. I never noticed a single hiccup, docked or handheld. During all the chaos of battle, everything was perfect, although the game did totally crash once, but it wasn't that big a deal. It probably took me a good hour to understand what the heck I was doing during combat, but once it clicked, it clicked. Project Nimbus has really tight controls, and mastering them is satisfying. You can move and boost fast into any direction you desire pretty much instantaneously, or rotate 360 degrees to keep an enemy in your sights. Keeping the enemy in front of you is important because your lock-on breaks if they slip away. You pretty much regularly have to reset your lock-on, which is tricky, but it keeps the game from becoming hold shoot to win. I got pretty used to it. Although there are difficult robots to pilot, their types of attacks ultimately fall into maybe half a dozen basic categories. The skills from one robot translate to another, and there often isn't a huge difference between them. More individuality between the robots would have been nice. Likewise, the 26-episode campaign has its highs and lows. The first half of the game feels often all the same, with the goal usually being just to kill everyone who pops into your view. The second half is a little more variety, with several missions being genuinely thrilling. However, overall, Project Nimbus is really lacking in compelling level design. Too many levels are just too big, empty spaces, sometimes literally, with waves of enemies suddenly spawning on screen. The enemies themselves weren't actually distinct either, so everything starts to feel the same after a while. Project Nimbus has a survival mode where you fight endless waves until you die, and you pick from any of the robots to use. However, it only saves one high score, so there's no incentive to play as anything but the best robots. There's also Warfront Mode where you play through randomly generated levels with different objectives, gaining experience to unlock better robots in that mode. It's RPG-esque since you have to use resources gained in battle to upgrade the stats of individual robots. It's a nice theory, but in practice, it just feels like you're doing the same thing over and over again. The game just can't escape its repetitive nature. Project Nimbus Complete Edition can be a very repetitive experience, but for only $19.99, it's an experience fans of the mech genre will enjoy. The controls just feel really good, and blowing stuff up is satisfying. With 3 levels of difficulty, you have a reason to stick around even if Warpath gets too redundant. In short, consider giving it a shot.